Well, it happened. The Snyder Cut is real. The internet pipe dream, conspiracy theory, internet fan campaign that would not say quit, Zack Snyder's Justice League Director's Cut will be shot, produced, and released on HBO Max, finally giving fans what they've been clamoring for, the Snyder Cut. Back in 2017, when Zack Snyder had to step away from his directing duties on Justice League to deal with a family tragedy, Warner Brothers tapped Marvel director Joss Whedon to finish the shoot. And in doing so, completely reshaped the storyline, adding more comedy and leaving many fans cold with this drastically new approach.
Well, I knew you didn't bring me back because you like me.
I don't. Not.
Ever since the film's lackluster critical reception and tepid box office result, the fans have been railing on the internet to release the Snyder Cut, going to extreme lengths to hopefully entice studio execs to release or finish the film as Snyder had intended. But while many will rejoice the Snyder Cut, there are countless examples of fan service gone wrong, or worse, placating the most toxic voices on the internet and severely damaging creators, brands, and the films in the process. So with so much good and bad coming from fandom influence, it begs the question, when did fandom become such a force in entertainment, and what does that mean for the future of movie making? First, let's break down what we mean when we say fan service. This is essentially something in a work of fiction or in a fictional series which is intentionally added to please the audience of that IP. This might be as simple as things like a beloved video game musical cue in the animated Castlevania Netflix series, or the Captain America Winter Soldier on your left callback from the finale of Avengers Endgame.
On your left.
Or the iconic "We Are the Walking Dead" line from AMC's The Walking Dead. In the comics, when lead character Rick Grimes utters the line, it recontextualized the entire series by stating the Walking Dead were in fact the living.
We are the Walking Dead.
So when Rick said the same famous line in the show, it was a moment that was anticipated and rejoiced by the Walking Dead's most diehard fans. Whether it's a simple line or an Easter egg prop in the background of a shot, each moment serves the story, but more importantly, it gives the fans a little love tap to say, hey, we see you, and this is for you. And although these slight nods are prevalent in modern-day franchise blockbusters, fan service has been a part of modern entertainment from the moment people started recreating books, video games, graphic novels, and theme park rides for movies and television.
Come on, Dougie.
Even going back to before the golden age of Hollywood. Consider this fun Easter egg in Gone with the Wind, arguably one of the very first blockbusters. In the film, Scarlett's first husband, Charles Hamilton's death certificate is signed by Wade Hampton. In the book, Charles and Scarlett have a son, Wade Hampton Hamilton. Director Victor Fleming added this as just a little nod to the fans of the book, who would have also have noticed that all of Scarlett's children, save her daughter with Rhett, were written out. Fans love it and rave when they like what's done, adding depth and authenticity to this property they already adore. But speaking of Gone with the Wind, it actually brings us to the darker side of fan service and where we take a look at what happens when things go wrong either in fan perception or in reality. One of the more obvious ways that studios try to please fans is when casting characters they loved on the page. And try as they might, studios often disappoint. But before we talk about how that happened with Gone with the Wind, let's talk about one of the earliest casting controversies in Hollywood history. In 1921, Rudolph Valentino became the world's first bona fide silent film sex symbol with his portrayal of the Sheik. But even back then, when his casting was announced, fans of the novel it was based upon were up in arms. They were convinced that the Italian hunk would not pull off the menacing and seductive Sheik they'd been swooning over on the pages of Edith Maud Hull's novel. And yes, much of the nation was absolutely livid when Vivien Leigh, a Brit mind you, was announced to play the American plantation princess Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind. In 1939, Gone with the Wind was an international bestseller, and just about every 15 to 30-something white American woman saw herself as the fiery young debutante.
Great balls of fire, don't bother me anymore, and don't call me sugar.
And it was these same women who were simply incensed that after an extensive casting process, which included the likes of Lucille Ball, Joan Crawford, Bette Davis, Katharine Hepburn, and Lana Turner, Lee, a crumpet-eating, tomato, not tomato, on the wrong side of the Boston Tea Party Brit, was chosen. Fans railed against the choice. There were letter-writing campaigns and threats to boycott the film. But in the end, Gone with the Wind would go on to become the greatest commercial and critical hit of its day.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Lee would be heralded for her performance and go on to win one of the 8 Oscars the film was awarded, but that was after the premiere. The controversy is mostly forgotten these days, given all the current controversy around the film, not surprisingly, but that dust-up was what director Sharon Maguire used to clap back at anyone who questioned her choice to cast a skinny Texan, Renee Zellweger, as the uber-British Bridget Jones for Bridget Jones's Diary. But just like Scarlett, our little Bridget was also perfectly cast. Today, we think of Heath Ledger's role in The Dark Knight as a reason not to rail against superhero casting announcements, but Lee, Valentino, and Ledger show that sometimes it pays to wait and see the end result before rushing to judgment, before actually seeing a performance of one of their beloved stories. But you can't really blame fans for being frustrated when what they get on the big screen isn't exactly what they envisioned in their heads. We've become so accustomed to ordering up our latest desire anytime we please, when we're told that's just not how it works, we find it hard to swallow. This is why we struggle accepting the fact that we can't order up a live-action Hercules remake like a Popeye's chicken sandwich from Postmates. But in all seriousness, storytelling is about vision, characters, and craft, and that isn't always served by trying to know what a fan will think about not giving Wolverine yellow tights, or Halle Berry having a South African accent. And as these swings in fan sentiment can severely damage or boost the earning potential of a franchise, mistakes have been made and there have been casualties on both sides.
Cleaning up the timelines.
According to many, one of the most egregious examples of fan indulgence is the final trilogy of the Skywalker saga. The series kicked off by pleasing fans and critics alike with The Force Awakens, and then came the polarizing The Last Jedi, followed by the movie that tried to give fans exactly what they thought they wanted, but for many, fell short.
I know.
Though the screenwriters of The Rise of Skywalker and director J.J. Abrams would go on to say that they were not trying to course correct, many of the major plot points either conflicted with or retconned the bits of The Last Jedi that fans had decried. After The Last Jedi, fans were livid. Change.org petitions were created, boycotts were threatened, and some very ambitious people put forth a campaign to remake the entire film. Which begs another question: why do people care so much about the story of space samurais? In 2007, Patton Oswalt penned a very funny, cutting, but surprisingly prescient article about geek culture and fandom called Wake Up Geek Culture, It's Time to Die. In it, he litigates the idea that geekdom is no longer underground. The internet has made anyone who wants to be an expert on something actually an expert with just the click of a mouse, and ownership is even more easily achieved. I'm a Star Wars fan, I'm a Trekkie, I'm an anime head, and in a few short clicks, you can be. Because of this, more people have been seduced by the idea that they own this content as a part of their identity. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but Disney owns Star Wars, and there's nothing we or even George Lucas can do about it. We don't own it, but marketing, toy, t-shirt, and memorabilia companies have no problem whatsoever feeding our addiction to feel like we do.
I don't know. I thought they looked kind of dashing.
That's why these same fans, and hey, we count ourselves among them, get supremely upset if they feel like what they love, or more importantly, who they are, is not being cared for in a way that they would hope. Because it's a part of them.
Experts! Walk away! Just walk away!
Oswald said, anyone can become an expert about anything instantly. In the 1980s, you couldn't get up to speed on an entire genre in a weekend. You had to wait month to month for issues of The Watchmen to come out. We don't agree with Oswald's ultimate proposal that geekdom should get suckier to combat this, but he made a point that resonates about the democratization of fandom and what it has done, including the real harm it has inflicted on some innocent people who are just trying to entertain. Star Wars actor John Boyega came out recently to plainly say it was an abdication of duty for studios not to combat the online harassment women and people of color face when fandoms attack them online. In the end, the creator fandom echo chamber is never gonna stop, but as much as creatives should keep fans in the front of their mind, they also need the freedom to take risks, to subvert expectations, to cast an Australian actor mostly known for Brokeback Mountain as DC's most feared villain, to put a whole new version of Spider-Man on screen in an animated style the world had never seen, to take Wolverine and paint him as an aging, down on his luck, nihilist former hero, and maybe they could even kill Snoke.
With great power comes great responsibility.
We can rejoice in the Snyder Cut and in the fact that Sonic will come out without creepy muscles and creepy teeth, but we can also acknowledge that giving fans what they want can be a fraught path and not always one that leads to the most incredible movies. No matter where you land on the debate, we can all be superheroes by helping out to make sure fandom is welcoming to everyone. We can do it, and we must try to do it quickly.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Okay, Master Yoda, we will do. It's the least we can do, as your baby is the best bit of fan service we've had in a long time. Yes, we know, he's not an actual baby.